Song for a Fallen Warrior, the song of a Blackfoot woman to the spirit of her son, who was killed on his first war party. First published in an article titled Indian Medicine by John Mason Brown, The Atlantic Monthly, 1866. Later published in 2006 in the book American War Poetry, an Anthology. O my son, farewell. You have gone beyond the great river. Your spirit is on the other side of the sand buttes. I will not see you for 100 winters. You will scalp the enemy in the green prairie, beyond the great river. When the warriors of the Blackfeet meet, when they smoke the medicine pipe and dance the war dance, they will ask, Where is Isthumaka? Where is the bravest of the Manakapi? He fell on the warpath. My Rambo, my Rambo. Many scalps will be taken for your death. The Crows will lose many horses. Their women will weep for their braves. They will curse the spirit of Isthumaka. O my son, I will come to you, and make moccasins for the warpath, as I did when you struck the lodge of the horse guard with the tomahawk. Farewell, my son, I will see you beyond the broad river. My Rambo, my Rambo. There the song ends. We know it was documented in 1866, maybe from a family still living, or many years earlier and passed down through the generations. Let's look at the history and geography behind the song. The man who documented the song was John Mason Brown. He was born in Kentucky in 1837, the son of Circuit Court Judge Mason Brown, and followed his father's footsteps to practice law in Louisville. John Mason also spent several months in 1861 and 1862 traveling in the northwestern United States and British America. He is known as an American lawyer who lived among Indian tribes and studied their beliefs and customs. These experiences provided the information John Mason needed to write articles for the Atlantic Monthly in 1866. The Lifeways book, The Blackfeet, provides a good introduction to the tribe. The Blackfeet lived on the Great Plains of the United States and Canada for hundreds of years. Before 1850, they dominated the broad grasslands east of the Rocky Mountains. The origin of the tribal name is unknown. According to one tradition, ages ago, the people lived in a different country where the dark soil stained their moccasins, or their moccasins might have been blackened by dyes or the ashes of prairie fires. The Blackfeet were often at war with other plains tribes. By the middle of the 19th century, having defeated all their enemies, the Blackfeet had become the most powerful tribe in the northern plains. The book Daily Life in a Plains Indian Village further explains, numbering around 18,000 people, they dominated southern Alberta, Canada, and western Montana. This area had plenty of grass and water, and was one of the last places that herds of buffalo could be found. The Blackfeet fought against almost all other tribes. Now let's review selected quotes from the song, slightly rearranged by topic, and try to understand them in terms of geography and history. I'll refer to what research I was able to do from 1,400 miles away from the Blackfeet Indian Reservation in Montana. O my son, farewell. You have gone beyond the great river. Your spirit is on the other side of the sand buttes, beyond the broad river. References to a physical location of the afterlife are described in the Lifeways book. It is believed the spirits of the deceased journeyed to the sand hills south of the Saskatchewan River. The spirits hunted and gathered there as they had during life. Invisible, the spirits spoke with the living who passed through their territory. My research found the Great Sand Hills Nature Preserve in Canada, south of the Saskatchewan River and north of Montana, but the song specifically identifies the sand buttes beyond a great river. Sand Buttes is a mountain peak in eastern Montana, south of the Missouri River. The Missouri River is a good candidate to be called the Great River because it has an average width of 700 feet, but is 13 miles wide at its widest point. So I would conclude the song refers to the Sand Buttes Peak south of the Missouri River. That would also mean the family in question lived in northern Montana or Canada. You will scalp the enemy in the green prairie. Many scalps will be taken for your death. Well, she brought it up, so now we have to talk about it. These lines describe not only taking war trophies in the afterlife, but taking war trophies from the living in revenge for the young man's death. The book Warfare, Economy, and Technology of Native North Americans defines scalping as the removal of hair and skin from the head of an enemy. It was widely practiced in North America, especially among the tribes of the Great Plains. Current opinion is that scalping was known to Native Americans before Europeans arrived. The book War Before Civilization further explains the Native North American custom of taking scalps is well known, although historical revisionists have popularized the notion that Indians only learned scalping from Europeans. The custom of scalping enemy dead was observed at first contact among tribes ranging from New England to California. Scalps and scalping were embedded in the myth and rituals of so many tribes that the custom's indigenous roots in North America are beyond serious question. By contrast, the custom was unknown in Europe, where the preferred trophies were usually whole heads. Indians were plainly the scalpers, and it was from them that the colonists learned the custom. However, it was the civilized Europeans who turned human scalps into an item of commerce. Okay, that's enough of that. The song continues, "He fell on the warpath." This line may refer to open warfare between tribes, but is more likely to mean a raid conducted against another tribe, as described in the Lifeways book. Although the Blackfeet weakened their enemies by the attacks, their main purpose was not to destroy these tribes or seize their territory, but to conduct raids. Hostilities most often took the form of raids carried out by many small parties. Each raiding party hastily came together and was disbanded as soon as the warriors arrived home. Killing and scalping enemies was not as important as capturing their horses. Young men needed many horses if they were going to marry and set up their own households. Risking their lives on these dangerous forays, young men became skilled warriors. The best raiders were not only courageous, but also alert and clever fighters. The song continues, "Many scalps will be taken for your death." We know the main purpose of the raids was to steal horses, but this line is clearly a desire for revenge, at least from the grieving mother. She continues, "When the warriors of the Blackfeet meet, when they smoke the medicine pipe and dance the war dance." The Lifeways book explains, when going into battle or embarking on a raid, warriors called upon spiritual powers, known as war medicine, to bring them good fortune. Most often, an aged warrior bestowed upon a young warrior his own war medicine that had over the years protected him during many conflicts. The young man then took a pipe and other gifts from the seasoned warrior, often his own father or other relative. An experienced warrior led the raiding party. He was usually in his 30s, while those who joined him were in their teens or early 20s. The older man's good judgment and ability inspired confidence that the party would find the enemy camp, capture many horses, and safely return home. The song continues, "I will come to you and make moccasins for the warpath, as I did when you struck the lodge of the horse guard with the tomahawk." These words describe more preparations for the raid, so let's continue. The young man prepared a sweat lodge for the older man, who prayed with him and shared some of his power with him. The symbols of this war medicine could be a war song, face paint, or a sacred object the veteran had once carried in battle. The symbols were often feathers or bunches of feathers in the hair, or they could be necklaces, headdresses, shirts, and knives. Friends and family donated food and supplies, such as extra moccasins, for the journey. During the raid, the warriors came lightly equipped with only a small pack containing extra moccasins, rawhide ropes for catching horses, dried meat or pemmican, pipe and tobacco, and a medicine bundle. She did mention her son's tomahawk, so let's talk a little bit about that. Tomahawks, or war axes, were traditional Native American weapons. Tomahawks could be held in the hand and used as hatchets, or they could be thrown. The word tomahawk comes from an Algonquin word meaning to knock down. Early tomahawks were made of stone. The head could be axe-shaped or round and was bound tightly to a strong wooden shaft with tough animal sinew. Later, iron and steel weapons were acquired from white traders and adapted to make tomahawks. Some metal blades were single and hatchet-shaped or pointed like spearheads. Others were double blades with a hatchet on one side and a spike on the other. Some wooden tomahawk handles were beautifully carved. Ceremonial tomahawks might be adorned with feathers. Tomahawks with hollow handles were tipped with an axe blade and pipe bowl, and could be used both as a weapon and as a pipe for smoking tobacco. And finally, the grieving mother sings, "Farewell, my son, I will see you beyond the broad river." So the song ends on a note of hope to see her dear departed son. And if you believe in an afterlife, let's hope she eventually got her wish and reunited with her son beyond the broad river. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for new videos every week or two, and see the description below for a list of books and online references featured in this video.